25 Republican governors issued a joint statement Thursday expressing support for Texas and its efforts to secure the border with Mexico. The statement comes as the Biden administration is fighting to stop Texas from securing its borders and preventing millions of illegal aliens from flooding into the state. The Daily Wire reports the governors highlighted the need for upholding the rule of law, securing the border, and protecting citizens from violent crimes, drugs, and potential security threats. The statement emphasized the right of states to self-defense and justified Texas's actions in the absence of federal enforcement of existing immigration laws. The only Republican governor who didn't co-sign the statement was Vermont's Phil Scott.
Now, your publication, the Western Journal, is reporting that Donald Trump has called on the 25 governors supporting Governor Abbott of Texas to send their own National Guard troops to help secure the border. The former president addressed solving the border crisis on Cheryl Atkinson's show last night. Here it is.
No country can sustain what we're sustaining right now. No country is rich enough.
So how do you deal with those, or do you deal with those?
You have to get them out. You have to deport.
How?
You have to deport. You know who did it?
You know who did it? You have a mass program to identify.
You have to have a mass deportation program.
Josh, some might think Trump's call for National Guard troops from half our states and a mass deportation program radical, but this is the #1 issue we've seen in the elections so far. Do you think Joe Biden wanted to cause this crisis, or did he just accidentally stumble into it?
No, he accidentally stumbled into it, and so did most Democrat politicians. What happened was multiculturalism and anti-Americanism, anti-colonialism seeped into the Democrat Party through younger people and academics, and soon the tail began to wag the dog, and this idea that we should have open borders just exploded. The Democrat politicians got stuck in this. Joe Biden, as late as 2008, said we need 700 miles of fence. So no, they've stumbled into this, but now they can't get out of it the same way they're dealing with green issues and the same way they're dealing with student loans. They have created monsters that are taking over their party, and they're beholden to them now. Yeah, they are beholden, and this is, you make your bed with it, there you are. That's what they're dealing with. Josh Manning, Western Journal, sir, thank you for being with us today. God bless you. Joining us now is veteran White House reporter and author of the new book, Amateur Hour, Kamala Harris in the White House. Charlie Spearing is with us. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Kash Patel was talking about the administration's border standoff with Texas in that last clip. Listen to the subject of your new book, Kamala Harris, offer her solution to the illegal immigrant crisis.
The solution includes putting resources at the border to do what we can to process people effectively, and putting in place laws that actually allow for a meaningful pathway to citizenship.
All right, so process illegal immigrants faster, wave a magic wand to make them citizens. Does our vice president have any handle on this policy, Charlie?
No, not at all. Ever since Joe Biden asked her to sort of take over the immigration issue, the White House has quickly learned that she is terrible on the issue. Remember when she famously traveled to Guatemala in the summer of 2021 and told migrants, do not come, do not come. Wow, that has completely changed. They didn't even listen to her, and they just kept coming and coming, and now her solution is to just give them citizenship. That's a line straight from AOC, and so that's certainly not what any sensible border policy should be as you go into the 2024 election.
Exactly. You wrote in Amateur Hour about the conflict between Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. What's the temperature of the relationship, and how was this political marriage made?
Well, it's certainly very frosty at this point. You know, Joe kind of wanted a buddy vice president, somebody he'd get along with, someone who would be a true partner. But Kamala demonstrated right away that that was not why she was here. She's here to protect her own political brand, protect her own political future. She's not here to take spears and arrows for Joe Biden. She's not even here to defend Joe Biden. Kamala's for Kamala. So that's kind of where she's been. And Joe Biden is kind of sad, right? He was kind of hoping for someone a little more personable, someone a little more competent, someone a little more better to defend him. Senior advisors, however, quite content to leave her in her sandbox and her safe spaces to talk about issues that does pretty good and stays on script. Issues like abortion and voting rights and other issues as well.
Just somebody to eat ice cream with. That would have been nice. So Harris has been...
I've never seen them share ice cream together, and they haven't even had dinner together in the private residence. So
and there's the point.
That's just a sign that they're just not friends. The two families are just not friendly.
She's been out campaigning for 2024, saying she is, quote, scared as heck that Donald Trump could win. Listen to this.
You've got someone who has said that if he were back in office, he would weaponize the Department of Justice. Someone who has said that they will go after their political enemies.
Charlie, is it just me, or is she describing Biden's actions as she tries to smear Trump?
Yeah, that sounds real familiar, doesn't it? It's quite amazing when she said that. And certainly when she is asked about questions that aren't sort of in her zone, she's just running on fear. The whole Biden campaign has sort of scripted this narrative that all Americans should be very, very afraid of Donald Trump, and not only Trump, but his supporters, and be very, very afraid. They're the domestic terrorists. They're the ones that are going to ruin our country if we put them back in power again. It's a very cynical campaign message, and I don't know if that'll bring enough voters to vote for the Biden-Harris ticket.
Well, we're going to hear it for about 10 months. Tell us what you discovered about Harris' vice president team, what it's like to work for her.
Yeah, she's very thin-skinned, very angry, she's very demanding, and almost toxic for so many staffers. In the first few months of her vice presidency, there was a steady rotation of pretty well-experienced campaign people, pretty well-experienced Washington staff, who just ended up hitting the jets, couldn't take the atmosphere. You know, prepping a candidate to go on media and answer key questions, and then realizing that she couldn't even spit out the right answers when the time came. So it was really a struggle for them, and they certainly didn't need to stay there. So, you know, Washington staffers are smart. If they see a candidate that's not going anywhere, they're going to hit the jets. Real quick on this, Charlie, we would not be doing due diligence. We didn't ask you to confirm or deny. Kamala Harris said this about your book, Amateur Hour, after reading it.
I can imagine what can be and be unburdened by what has been, you know?
Real quick, Charlie, does that describe your book? 10 seconds.
I think so. I think that's her whole career, is her trying to imagine herself as president and pretend that she's can be unburdened by all her mistakes and all her gaffes and everything that's happened behind the scenes. So it's really just that's the way she's going to head into the next election, with that idea in mind.
We're out of time, but might want to tell people, get your copy of Amateur Hour, Kamala Harris in the White House, available everywhere books are sold. Charlie, thank you for joining us today.
You bet. Thanks for having me.
You bet.